No!
Oh no.
Shit!
Oh no, 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 no.
Okay, hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the channel. My name is Alan.
Prozzie.
This is Prozzie. We are in Puli, the most geographically central part of Taiwan. And I thought this would be a great location, smack bang between the East Coast and the West Coast, to do a bit of comparisons and talk about whether or not we would prefer to live on the East or West Coast of Taiwan. Don't answer yet.
I know.
Before we get into the main topic of the video, we've got a little bit of a problem yesterday. On the way to Hohan-san, I had a little bit of an issue with my helmet.
Yeah.
Oh! No! Shit! So yeah, there you can see my helmet fell off my bike and rolled 2,000 or 3,000 meters down a cliff. So I actually had to ride helmetless from the middle of the mountains to here in Puli, which we definitely don't advise doing.
I wasn't listening because a girl was taking a photo of us in the car.
We definitely don't advise riding helmetless, right?
No, but we didn't have a choice because it's not like people are selling helmets on the top of the highest mountain
Yeah.
So
Anyway, yeah, we're here in Puli. We've got to buy a helmet. Then maybe we'll go get some lunch and discuss the topic in the video. Oh, this one I think could be okay. Yeah, it's perfect.
Really?
Has this got a price on it?
$439.
Well, they always say, right? You should spend as much on a helmet as the price you would put on buying a new head.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit expensive, but we'll go with it. $439. Anyhow, 是这个我买新的。
哦，好，439，我帮你把上面那个撕掉，好不好？
谢谢。
不会不会，439。
439. Mission number 1 completed. How do you feel about dumplings for lunch?
I love dumplings.
Okay, so dumplings ordered with a little bit of an extra surprise. Do you know what this one is?
Pig's ear.
You're close. It's not pig's ear. Pig's head skin.
Oh, fun.
Pig's face. It's like uncooked bacon.
Yeah, kind of.
Right, so East Coast versus West Coast.
Yeah.
Let's get into the pros and cons. The East Coast, Hualien, Taitung that we visited. What would you say is the benefits of being a foreigner living in the East Coast?
Unmatched natural beauty. If you're an outdoorsman, if you like hiking, if you like swimming and surfing, it's definitely the place for you. It has more of a laid-back island feel to them. And I feel like the people there are more in tune with nature. And it's cheaper.
Okay, yeah, cheaper is definitely a big pro. But I mean, talking about natural beauty, even if you live in Taichung, then the natural beauty is not that far away. You can just take a 30-minute scooter drive into the mountains.
Yeah, you have to get out of the smog and the disgusting air to get out of the... You don't have to go anywhere in Taitung. Just look around.
Yeah.
And the mountains are towering. Like in Hualien, they're just constantly lurking over the city, and it looks so cool. It's a bit like Vancouver is a bit like that. Yeah, I think that's a very good comparison if you're Canadian. Vancouver is a bit like Hualien, scaled down.
Okay, I agree with you. I think like what you said about surfing, if you want ocean specifically, then the East Coast natural scenery is unrivaled. There's nowhere on the West Coast, I think, to surf.
It's all just shipping lanes. We have the Gaomei wetlands.
Yeah.
Gaomei wetlands is like a tourist attraction in Taichung. Okay? And I'm here to tell you, it's wetland. Which for Taiwanese people is great, because Taiwanese people love taking certain photos. But there's nothing there. It's just land that is wet.
Okay, so let's talk about the cons. What would be the cons of living on the East Coast for a foreigner?
You are a bit far away from the big cities, and it does feel a bit scary, I think, a bit lonesome being in a place that doesn't have the sort of creature comforts that a city would. Hualien, you can kind of get away with it. That's a fairly decent sized city, but...
Yeah, they have a department store, which for me was a surprise. I didn't know that Hualien needed or had the demand for Dayuanbai, but it's there.
I think it's a lot bigger of a city than I think people realize, but...
And also like the convenience of HSR. The HSR is only along the West Coast. So if you're in Hualien and you do want to get somewhere to the city, it's going to take you much longer, much less convenient to get there. One thing I felt, and of course this wouldn't be the same if you were actually in the towns, but traveling from town to town, of course my scooter is pretty old and I was worried something was going to go wrong with it. I feel like because we were in the middle of nowhere, it would have taken forever to fix out my scooter in certain places.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were going from Taichung to Tainan, there's so many little towns along the way. You're always basically in a town.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely that level of convenience.
And especially when we were about 3,000 meters above sea level on Hehuanshan, and my scooter was doing about 5 kilometers an hour. Like, no joke.
Less than walking pace.
It was slower than walking pace. I had to get off and walk it a few times. If my scooter had broken there, then that would have been disastrous. I would have had to roll back down to Hualien.
I do find another con is that the farther away you get from Taipei, the more reckless people will become behind the wheel.
Okay.
Some of the decision making I've seen in some of the smaller areas of Taiwan blows my mind. It's like they want to die. No offense to Taiwanese people, but the driving here is...
It's the overtaking that is insane. The
Yeah.
impatience.
The impatience, yeah. Like, just wait a second. You know, if someone's trying to turn left so that to go into your lane and you're going, they'll just do it.
Yep.
And then you have to be the one to see that and stop.
Yeah. So I'm going to give Prozzie the most difficult question in this video. What are the pros of living on the west coast in Taichung City? The video hasn't paused. That was a genuine wait.
It's hard to see the pros of a city that you live in because eventually it all just equates to zero. That's just the city. So it's not a pro anymore. It's just sort of accepted as the way it is. We were talking about this off camera.
Yeah.
If I live in a city, I'll hate it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I really like Kaohsiung, but I've never lived there. I swear to God, if I lived in Kaohsiung, I'd probably find some way to complain about it.
I think that's natural. That's like grass is greener syndrome. Or on a personal level, the pros of Taichung. My son was born there. I've mentioned that before many times. The weather. You're thinking about the pollution. Forget about the pollution and the cloudy.
Looking at East versus West Coast, and I'm sorry, the weather in Hualien was amazing. It wasn't too hot. It was nice and sunny. The weather, you don't even get to see the weather half the time in Taichung. If you could enjoy the weather, that'd be fine. But I think most of the time it's so polluted that the weather doesn't even show itself. Because you have no idea. It could be sunny. You've got no idea because you're just covered in fog.
Another thing we forgot to mention about the weather in Hualien is that typhoons come way more often. And earthquakes. It's a bit more dangerous. And I think the building standards in Hualien are not as up to scratch as...
That's true. Like smaller cities, like just today, like we're in Puli and we were leaving the garage of our hotel. And how would you explain that?
Just a very lackadaisical approach to health and safety.
Yeah. The parking garage is not like when you drive down a ramp. You drive into like a car elevator. And they just leave a massive hole in the building. So like children running by or someone not paying attention could fall down 2 stories without anything there to catch
Oh, yeah.
them.
So what I would say is the next question. I seem to feel that many foreigners that come here after a few years, it's kind of like the Taiwan dream to make it to the East Coast and like find a job or set up a coffee shop or make a life for yourself on the East Coast. Would you say that's your dream? Would you like to do that, or why do you think people want to do that?
Well, I think that people want to do it because there's a lot more freedom to be had in Hualien. And also, if you're more entrepreneurial, chances of success are a bit higher because there's less competition. There's someone who does American-style barbecue in Taidong, right? But because there is no one else doing it there.
Yeah.
So he could have just done that easily. So any idea you have to open up a business that they don't have, which there are many, you can do that. And so it's easier to find success there, I think. But I'm not exactly sure why it's paradise. I guess it's just easy living. I mean, you can work low hours, make quite a bit of money, and you're living in a city that has a very low cost of living.
Yeah, I should say that it's probably not all foreigners that want that life, because it's the kind of more, what's the word? Hippie, what do you say? Like a hippier style?
It's a bit hippie-ish, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's why I don't live in Hualien. Although I love the beach and I love the mountains and I like looking at them, if I lived there, I'd never go.
So in summary, if you were offered a job tomorrow, same pay, similar standard of living, in Hualien or Taidong, what would you do? Would you take it? And don't worry about upsetting me. I'll come with you. I'll be there too.
Oh, you're coming?
I'm coming.
Yeah, I think I'd think about it.
I would not take it. I would not take a job in Hualien, I'm sure. I'm very much become a city boy and like so used to the convenience.
There's a level of comfort you get from larger cities that you don't really get from something like Taidong.
Well, I think it's time to ask you guys what you prefer. Where are you watching from? Do I have any fans on the East Coast? If you're watching from the East Coast and you have anything to say to compare it to the West Coast, add it to the comment section down below. But I think it's time to say goodbye, get on the road and get back to Taichung. So, as for now and as always, see you next time, my life in Taiwan. Peace, bye-bye.